Good morning, first graders. Today is Wednesday, March 18th, and it is our first full day of distance learning. I loved seeing all of your posts on Class Dojo yesterday and getting to respond to you. Every day we will be reading 2 chapters from our questionnaires book, Rosie, Revere, and the Ruckus Riveters. I know that we left off on chapter 4, but I figured we'd start at chapter 1 because some of you missed a chapter on Monday. And then every day check back and you'll see a new chapter. When we finish Rosie Revere, we are going to move on to Ada Twist and her chapter book, and then hopefully I will be back with you to finish Iggy Peck. So, chapter 1. Rosie Revere put on her safety goggles. "Are you ready?" she asked. "Ready," said Ada Twist. "Ready," said Iggy Peck. They signed the thumbs up from behind the kitchen counter. "Here it goes," said Rosie. She hit the big red button on the count-o-meter, and the scratchy computer voice blared from its speaker. Countdown. 5. Rosie ducked into her safety book. 4. She flipped open her notebook. 3. She pulled her pencil from behind her ear. 2. Suddenly Gizmo flew in the kitchen and landed on the contraption. "Duck!" yelled Rosie. Gizmo chirped angrily. "I know you're not a duck," yelled Rosie. 1, and the 3 kids dived for Gizmo just as, boom, the contraption exploded. Splat, slurp, slup. Sticky red glops of ketchup flew everywhere, but Gizmo zoomed ahead of the storm. She soared up, up, and up out of the way. She looped and looped, gently landed on the refrigerator. "Zowie," said Ada, wiping ketchup from her goggles. "Yikes," said Iggy, wiping ketchup from his sweater. Said Rosie, tapping her pencil on the notebook. She looked at the mess and wrote a quick note. "Testing in the kitchen equals bad idea." There's our picture. We can see Rosie and Ada and Iggy looking at the big mess that they had made in the kitchen. Chapter 2. Ada and Iggy had been helping Rosie all morning. She was trying to invent something for her uncle, Zookeeper Fred. Uncle Fred had a big snake problem, and a little snake problem, and a green snake problem, and Uncle Snake had an every kind of snake problem. Every kind of snake in the zoo loved him. They slithered out of their cages and into his office. They hid in his desk, in his pockets, even in his lunch. One day, a smooth green snake named Vern hid in his sandwich. Uncle Fred thought that Vern was a wiggly pickle and almost took a bite. After that, Uncle Fred called Rosie. She invented a contraption to scare away snakes. She called it Snake Away. It failed. She tried again, and again, and again. Rosie invented 5 models. They all failed, but she did not give up. Uncle Fred needed her. Rosie had hoped that the Snake Away Model 5 would do the job. She looked at the mess. The fake snake on the table was covered in ketchup. It looked like a gigantic striped French fry with fangs. Uncle Fred would not like an invention that left ketchup all over his desk. He was a mustard kind of guy. And besides, it might attract ants, and possibly French fries. Here you can see Uncle Fred and that green snake named Vern in his sandwich. Rosie added some notes about her testing. Model 1, fabulous flop. Model 2, magnificent mess. Model 3, creative catastrophe. Model 4, distinguished dud. Model 5, ketchupy kerfuffle. The 3 friends cleaned up the mess. Then they shared peanut butter and honey sandwiches and talked about why the test failed. After lunch, Ada and Iggy went home, and Rosie kept working. She looked at the contraption. A tube had exploded because of a kink in the line blocked by ketchup. The pressure of the ketchup built up until boom. "Ah," said Rosie. She jotted down some ideas to fix the problem. Snake Away Model 6 would work better. She was sure of it. Well, almost sure. There was only one way to find out. She would make changes to the machine and test again. Rosie was about to start when she heard a familiar whirling, purling, clanging, and banging sound and looked out the window. It was great Aunt Rose. Rosie stuck a pencil behind her ear, crammed her notebook in her pocket, and ran outside as Aunt Rose landed the Helio cheese copter in the yard. Hey, called Aunt Rose. How's my favorite engineer? Aunt Rose hopped out of the aircraft and twirled Rosie into a giant hug. My new invention is a disaster, said Rosie. Brilliant, said Aunt Rose. Tell me about it on the way. Are we going somewhere? Asked Rosie. You bet we are, said Aunt Rose, and there's no time to lose. It's an emergency. And then we get to chapter 3. Check back tomorrow to find out what happens to Great Aunt Rose and Rosie on their next adventure. See you tomorrow.